Hello and thanks for tuning in. I'm Monica from Kalkine Media and I welcome you to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Tom Pickett, the Managing Director of Cannindah Resources Limited, ticker code CAE. Cannindah Resources Limited is an emerging exploration and resource development company focused on gold and copper. Based in Australia, the company is actively advancing its projects including the Mount Cannindah project and exploring strategic options for the Piccadilly project. Mr. Tom has been actively involved in managing exploration activities across numerous copper and gold projects in North Queensland. Mr. Tom, welcome to our show. We really appreciate you being here today for a quick discussion.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So starting off, could you please provide an overview of Cannindah Resources and its current strategy for exploration and resource development?
Sure. Cannindah Resources is a exploration company based in Queensland, Australia. We're focused on our projects in copper and gold. We have two projects, our flagship project at Mount Cannindah, which is 100 kilometres south of the port of Gladstone. And we have the Piccadilly Gold Project, which is about 100 kilometres to the west of the port of Townsville. We have, in more recent times, been exploring the Mount Cannindah project, which we'll call our flagship project for copper and gold. And we've had some very extensive drill intercepts. And the success of that has been as a result of approaching the exploration slightly differently to what had been done in the past over a number of companies. So we've then spent some time developing a resource which we updated recently, and now we're moving into the phase of further expansion of that resource area, and also, as you point out, the exploration of the gold projects at Piccadilly in North Queensland.
That's very insightful. Recently, your company reported a significant increase in copper resources at the Mount Cannindah project. What factors contributed to this growth, and what does it signify for the project's future?
Yeah, you're right. We did update that resource significantly from the previous one, which was 5.5 million tonnes at just under 1% copper. We've, as I said, since been drilling quite extensively. The factors that contributed to the increase were probably that we approached the exploration somewhat differently, as I mentioned earlier. We drilled from initially entirely the opposite direction to what all the other drilling had been done. So it was a little bit different to start, and then we pivoted a few times around to make sure that we were getting everything in the right direction. And the drilling that we completed resulted in a 183% increase in tonnage, 117% increase in copper tonnes, 229% increase in gold ounces, and 148% increase in silver ounces. So it was a very successful update, if you like. But what it also showed is that the work that we did outlined that there were other areas, or are other areas, for us to target to expand that resource area. So our focus is not only just resting on our laurels that we've been very successful in the drilling, but also to expand that current resource area, which we've recently outlined, and also identify new targets and attack those to add tons, significant tons, to future exploration.
Impressive progress indeed. Mr. Tom, what are the upcoming plans for the Mount Cannindah project?
We had a pretty good idea of where we should be drilling to expand our current resource area at the Mount Cannindah breccia zone, and as a result of identifying the signatures of what we're being successful with at that particular target area, we've set about to replicate that signature elsewhere on the project. And we've identified a fairly significant induced polarization geophysical target, which is about 800 metres away to the southwest of where we'd been drilling successfully. And it's got all the hallmarks of the area that we've had that success in. So interestingly, it appears as though the anomaly is about 2 to 3 times the size of the area that we've been drilling to date. So we'd like to focus our exploration efforts, if you like, to expanding those tons by hitting this new target area, which, as I said, has all the hallmarks of where we've been successful, and it's had no exploration over it other than the work that we've done in more recent times.
Well, it sounds like the engineering reports are laying a robust foundation for the project success. Coming to the next question, could you elaborate on the strategic importance of the Piccadilly Gold project within Cannindah Resources portfolio and also its role in the company's growth strategy?
Yes. Well, both copper and gold have enjoyed a fairly significant uptick in focus and also in price from the market generally. Piccadilly is a purely gold focused project in North Queensland, as I mentioned. We have had some fairly good success with some relatively limited drilling at Piccadilly over a mining lease area, which is surrounded by some EPMs. And we set about to expand upon the knowledge of that region, if you like. So we got made an application for some further ground surrounding that area. We know there's gold in the system. We've got some very good hits within our drilling, but also with the geochemical surveys that we've been doing there. And that expansion has been sort of designed to replicate the work that we'd initially done at Piccadilly. And we've got some very interesting historical drill hits to follow up within the new project area that we've been granted, which is adjacent to the Piccadilly mine site. So, in terms of its strategic importance, gold is quite important to our company. We've got some, as I said, we've increased gold ounces at the Mount Cannindah area by 229%. It'd be nice to get some very interesting hits out of the Piccadilly area, which we'll be doing some ground-based work on to improve the knowledge of that zone very shortly.
That's really smart approach. Moving forward, with evolving market dynamics in gold and copper, how does Cannindah Resources adapt its exploration strategies to capitalize on these trends?
Yeah, well, initially, some years ago, the copper price was also going through a period where it was improving, and it got to a point where I think back then it was about $4.50 a pound thereabouts, and it gave me a different focus to a couple of the projects. Mount Cannindah was really being looked at by us with a gold lens, and then we shifted focus to a copper one. And it's turned out to be quite a good decision in the sense that we've identified that there's a lot going on at Mount Cannindah in terms of its copper tonnage that we could access that we haven't yet identified. So Mount Cannindah is quite a large project area for both copper and gold. And both of those two commodities are enjoying a little bit of a time in the sun. There's some significant deals that have been going on or talked about in the background in terms of acquisitions by other companies. And our strategy, if you like, is to take part in what is a shortage of copper tons that are available in competent jurisdictions, for example, like Australia. So the importance of it for us is to build tons and to build those tons within areas that are easily accessible. Our resource is from surface and constrained to an open pittable area down to 350 metres. So it's a really, really sort of simple mining method potentially, if you like. And we'd like to replicate that across other areas of the project and add significant tons.
Well, it's interesting to hear how these learnings are being applied. We should wrap up with this one, Mr. Tom. Looking forward, what are the upcoming exploration plans and growth initiatives that your company has in stores for the next few years?
Yeah, the focus I think needs to be the expansion of copper tons at Mount Cannindah initially. We have spent a fair amount of time at board level talking with our geological team and planning the next steps for drilling, and that will be centered around the expansion of the current resource area, but also hitting the interesting target that I mentioned earlier with a pretty extensive drill program over the next 12 months with a view to adding significant tons to the project area. So the strategy will be to implement that new drill program in its second phase, if you like. The first phase was just to delineate an initial update to the resource, which we've achieved. Now we're going to the second phase, which is growing that resource and expanding in new target areas. So there'll be effectively two teams. One will be expanding current resource area as best they can, and the other will be targeting the new zone, which we've identified as quite large with our IP survey and other ground-based exploration work.
That sounds like an exciting roadmap ahead. That's Mr. Tom Pickett, the Managing Director of Cannindah Resources. In case you have missed any part of this chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel at Kalkine Media. Do not forget to subscribe there. This is Monica signing off.